Some people might recall the momentary buzz caused a couple of years ago by a particularly odd Morrowind mod. The file name was Jvk1166z.esp. It was never posted on any of the larger Elder Scrolls communities. Usually just smaller boards, role-playing groups. I know a few. Oh my gosh. I know in a few cases, rather than being posted, it was silent via PM or email to a chosen few. It was only up for a few days, to the best of my knowledge. It caused a buzz. It was a virus, or seemed to be. You try to load the game with the mod active, it would hang at the initial load screen for a full hour, then crash to the desktop. If you let it get that far, your install of the Morrowind, along with any of the save files you had, would become completely corrupted. Nobody could figure out what the mod was trying to do, since it couldn't be opened in any of the construction set. Eventually, warnings were distributed not to use it if you found it, and things died down. About a year later, in a mod board I used to frequent, someone popped up with a mod again. He said he was PM'd by a lurker who deleted his account immediately after sending. He also said that the person advised him to try playing with the mod through DOSBox. For some reason, this worked, sort of. The game was a bit laggy, and you couldn't get into any options, load game, or the console, or really anything else other than the game itself. The quick save and the quick load hot buttons worked, but that was it. And the quick save file seemed to be just part of the game file, so you couldn't get at it anymore. Some speculated that the changed game used an older graphics renderer, making DOSBox necessary, but it didn't look any different. This part I can speak about from personal experience. When you start a new game in JVK, as the board came to call it, once you left the starting bit in the census office and came into the game proper, the first thing you notice is that the prophecy has been severed. Box pops up. It's because every single NPC having to do with the main quest is dead, with the sole exception of Yagrum Bargern. The last one, Dwemer, their corpses never despawn, so you can check out all of them. In effect, you begin in a world that is doomed to start with. The second you notice you're losing health is the only bit, but it keeps happening. It's only a bit, but it keeps happening, a little bit at a time. The longer you stay in one place, the quicker it seems to occur. If you let this health loss kill you, you'll find the cause. A figure we came to call the assassin, but it seems to wear a retextured version of the Dark Brotherhood armor from Trebinul. Even though the expansions don't work in JVK, it's all black, completely untextured, like he's just a hole in space. The way he moves gave me quite a start. He gave me quite a start. The first time I saw him scuttling around my dead body, he crawls inhumanly on his hands and feet, his arms and legs splayed out like a spider. You'd usually see him after death crawling around over your body. Just before you reload, box pops up. Occasionally, you would catch a glimpse of him darting around the corner, crawling on the wall or ceiling. It made the game very difficult to play at night. Other than that, the only noticeable difference is that at night, at random intervals. Every NPC in the game will go outside for a few minutes. During this time, the only thing they will say when hailed is, "Watch the sky." Once they return to the normal behaviors, they act like normal, though it's real. I see that. After a while, a player on the board discovered a new NPC named Tierez, a male dwemer in the a male dwemer in the temple of the Ghost Gate. At the Ghost Gate, two things are notable about this NPC. First, in his robe, a unique article of clothing that was lovingly rendered with twinkling stars across it, looking like a torn off chunk of the night sky. Then, I am ripping this box to pieces. Then, the the second is all that of his dialogue. In addition to showing up in his dialogue box, is voiced. In addition to showing up in the dialogue box, is voiced. You can skip it if you wish, but it all sounds like this in the default male Dwemer voice. Some people said that they thought the voice was slightly different, but it was a very, very good imitation. I won't go into details, but the quest line he sends you to go on has to do with the dungeon referred to simply as the Citadel. Until this point, the quests are all fairly generic. Discover the secrets of the ancient spent. The entrance to this dungeon is on a small island far to the west of the Morrowind proper. I eventually discovered that if you use a scroll of a carrion flight at the westernmost point on the main landmass, and jump directly west, you'd end up almost exactly at the island. Even though the dungeon is called the Citadel, it goes straight down. It dwarfs any other dungeon both in size and difficulty. From a natural cave area, you'll proceed down into a central tomb-looking area, then a Daedric ruin area, and then a Dwemer ruin area. I made it down to the Dwemer ruins before I quit. The creatures were strong enough that a level 20 character would have to take care. And since you can't use the console in JVK, level 20 took a while to get to. Since the quick save and quick load are your only options, it's all too easy to get yourself into an impossible situation, too. I did, and I just didn't have the energy to start over. I'm back. I just wanted to chew my gum. Now, what I'm telling you is based off those a few who went further reported. Past the Dwemer ruins, you find yourself in a level like the Dwemer ruins, but darker. Rather than the usual bronze, all surfaces, including those of the creatures, are black. The sounds of the machinery are loud here, and grow louder still, randomly. There's also a steam or fog everywhere, limiting your vision about 10 in-game feet or so. If you can make it through all this, you will reach a hall that those who found it called it the portrait room. Portrait room, like the fire and the torches or the other effects from early 3D games. This room has picture frames that always face directly at you. No matter how you look at them, the images in the frames are always randomly chosen images from your my pictures folder. Oh my god, I gotta delete some porn pics and dick pics and boob pics and stuff. Because I don't want any of that. On the board, the ones who got there had some fun posting screenshots of the portrait room and various pictures in the frames, usually porn, of course. Oh my god, I didn't notice that. At the end of the hall was a locked door. After admitting defeat and returning to the tiaras, everyone just found him saying, "Watch this." Everyone just found him saying, "Watch the sky," in his gravelly voice. What's more, nobody else in the game would say anything. There was a completely blank dialogue box with no options at all. They wouldn't even rattle off this usual canned audible greetings. The only exception was at night. Whenever they'd go out for a few minutes, they'd still repeat it, "Watch the sky." At this point, one of the players, a friend of mine from the board, noticed, a few others who got this far agreed. The night sky was no longer its usual night sky of Tamriel. It changed to a depiction of a real night sky, and it moved. From this point on, everything is based on what this one person reported. Eventually, he got himself kicked from the board. I kept in contact with him for as long as he responded. According to him, based on the constellations and planets, the sky started around February 2005. If he died, loaded, or went back to the Citadel, it would start over. Eh, when the usual sky, when usual day sky graphics took over, the movement would be suspended until the stars appeared again. In the space of a single night, everything would move about 2 months worth. Since this time scale of JVK was more or less a standard game, that meant that a bit less than an hour was equal to a 24-hour period. He became convinced that the door would open based on some kind of celestial event. Of course, waiting for that meant leaving the game running. Of course, that meant the game couldn't be left unattended thanks to our old friend the assassin. My friend decided he'd hang out for a whole day to see if anything happened. That would be about a year's worth of movement. Here's a post he made at the end of this experiment. I loaded in the Senanine where it all starts. It wasn't too bad. I just had to check it out. Then to move around and heal to make sure I wasn't dying. But I learned the assassin learned a new trick. Oh wait. Okay. Here's the post he made at the end of this experiment. I loaded the Senanine where it all starts. It wasn't too bad. Just had to check in now and then to move around and heal to make sure I wasn't dying. But check it out. 24 hours exactly in. The assassin has learned a new trick. He screams. I was just reading all of a sudden, then this crazy loud shriek just about makes me crap myself. It's just like something out of a horror movie. I look up and there he is, crouched down right in front of me. Of course, the second I moved my character, he ran off. I went back down to the portrait room. The door was still locked. Damn it, damn it, damn it. A bit later, he came in to the decision that he needed to wait 3 days, 3 years. The PM advising us to try DOSBox showed up in February of 2008. His reasoning, anyways. After his first streak, after the first streak, the assassin stops hitting you out of nowhere. Now he'll shriek, and if you don't move for a few seconds after that, he hits you. I think whoever made this mod was trying to help. At night, I've got my headphones on, and I was just kind of dozing off when he wakes me up with a shriek, and I jiggle the mouse, and I'm good. That post was 2 days in from his laptop. Once it was over, fuck. So fucking done. So I wait 3 days, right? And the 3 days after the fucking assassin made me jiggle the mouse, he shrieks again. So I look, and everyone in town is outside They're all saying watch the sky. I don't see anything though. But the game starts getting dark, like really dark. I turn up the brightness all the way in the monitor. I could still barely see. I can I can see the other people in the game, little figures running around the distance, just running back and forth. If I try to get close, they run off. Now I was trying to sleep, so the lights are off. This is kind of creepy. I don't want to get up. I don't want to get up to turn on the lights because I don't want to miss anything. But nothing fucking happens. So I eventually go back to the Citadel. It's still dark. I gotta swim. The whole time I can see all these guys swimming around me. They're just barely there. I make it to the Citadel. It's normal light inside. And I get worried. Surely enough, the portrait door is still fucking closed. I go outside and it's all starting over. So that's it. I'm fucking going to bed. I'm fucking done. The end. After that, two things happened. First, another of the people who got to the portrait room claimed that the assassin is showing up in his regular Morrowind game. Quick explanation: if you reinstall the Morrowind to a different folder, you could have a normal Morrowind install along with the JVK. He himself chalked it up in an overactive imagination at first, but he reported a couple of really big scares with the black figure crawling on his right arm or seeing it waiting for him just around the corner, scuttling off. Another of those who reached the portrait room started a regular Morrowind game but never saw him for sure. Just a couple of the maybes at late at night and always at a distance. The second is that my friend started to get really abusive and short-tempered on the board. I thought he stopped talking about JVK entirely. It got so bad that he was soon kicked off. I didn't hear anything from him for a couple of weeks after that, so I sent him an email. This was part of his reply. I know I shouldn't, but with the classes out, I've got some time. With classes out, I got some time. So I started up JVK. It's almost 2012. I think I've got the sleep madness. But stuff is happening. It's so dark. Once it gets dark, it never gets any lighter. It stays like that. But the people moved a few months ago. Everyone in Senna just went to that little bandit cave and moved in. They killed the bandits inside, and now they're just standing around inside. They don't say anything anymore. They 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 don't do anything when you click on them. I quick saved, killed one. They just stood there until he died without fighting back. And it's like that everywhere. You have to walk since the quick travel people are all in caves now. Caves now too. But all the cities in town are just deserted. All the people are in caves and tombs. Everyone in Vivek is down in the sewers. I go to the Ghost Gate next. I want to see if Tira's is still there. I'll tell you what he needs to say when I get there. I replied and said I wanted to see what he said too, and waited a day. I didn't get a reply. I mailed back him again. A couple hours later, he sent back, "Sorry, I totally forgot. So it's 2014 now. Since it's always night, the stars are always moving. The whole screen is dark. You can still see the brightest stars moving around. Tears is gone, but everyone in the Ghost Gate was gone. I don't know where they went. They're not They're not in any of the nearby caves. There's a bunch of new stuff. People still didn't say anything, but their eyes are bleeding. It's so dark that even the light spell you have to, you have to get right up against them to see, but they're there. Little dark streaks coming down from their eyes. I think I gotta be getting close. I know this is stupid. There's no way the payoff is going to be worth it. I just want to be able to see. I I just want to be able to say I stuck it out. I got that emo during the day. Later that night, I got a follow-up emo. Some of the plans are moving right. It's pissed me off. If this keeps up, I won't be able to keep track anymore. It's almost 2015 now. I think fuck. You know, I just now noticed there aren't any monsters anymore. Any monsters anymore either. I'm completely alone outside. The main quest people's bodies are still lying around. Though I went to check on them. I don't need headphones anymore, so I just leave them off. When he shrieks, it's like he's screaming right into my ear. I think I even kind of anticipate it. He's around me a lot more now, a lot closer. He's different from the other people who started showing up, remember? They keep running around just where I can barely see them. I have to admit, it's kind of creepy at night. Sometimes when I go to the bathroom or whatever, I swear I can still see something out of the corner of my eye. I keep all the lights on now. I sent him a letter. I sent him a letter jokingly telling him to get some real sleep, and I left it at that. 2 mornings later, I found him. I found this in my email. It was the last thing I got from him. After this, he stopped responding completely. I just got up from a fucked up dream, I think. The assassin shrieked at me, but when I opened my eyes, he was right there, crouching over me. His arms and legs were longer, more like spiders, and I just tried to push him away, but when I touched him, his hands were... When I touched him, my hands went inside. I just couldn't get them loose. I couldn't get them loose again. Like he was made of tar or something. Then I woke up. I thought he was gone, but when I looked under the monitor, I wasn't where I was. I was in the course. Okay, let me just pass this. Corpus. Oh my gosh, why is all this scroll so complicated? With Yagrum, I was in the corporeal. I am with Yagrum. For once, the light was okay. I could see him all bloated on those mechanical spider legs. I sat down on the computer and he started talking to me. Not in the box, but with real talk, like real talking to me, and to hear his voice. He knew things about me. He told things that I never told anyone. Some I almost totally forgot about. He told me that almost nobody made it this far. That the door would open up soon. I just had to hang out a little while longer. He said I just know when it was time. He said I might be the first one to see what was inside, and I woke up for real. I was, but I was at the computer. I still wasn't where I was. I'm swimming out to the citadel, and I can hear tapping. It's in my window. It's over at my window. So I'm sending you this now because I left my laptop on my bed. To the right, just a little. Tap, 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 tap. Like he's knocking his fingers against the glass. I might still be dreaming now. So I guess that's the end of the story. I know there's a few other stories floating around the mod, but since this is the only one I know is true, as far as it goes, I deleted my JVK copy of the game pretty much right after I gave up. I'd like to get a mod again. If anyone still has a copy of the file, I like to see some of this for myself.